We are Saturn and Uranus's rings. When moons, or SE bodies, get too close, they form rings. Mars will be doing that in the future due to collision of Phobos. Phobos is spiraling toward Mars due to tidal forces and is predicted to be torn apart in about 30 to 50 million years, creating a ring system. Because Phobos is a porous, rubble pile moon, it will not crash entirely into the surface, but will instead be torn apart upon reaching the Roche limit, creating a ring of debris that could last for millions of years. Saturn's rings likely formed relatively recently, perhaps 100 to 200 million years ago, when one or more icy moons or passing comets were torn apart by the planet's intense gravity. These remnants, consisting of billions of ice and rock chunks, were spread into a ring system rather than crashing into the planet. A large icy moon or comet likely wandered too close to Saturn, passing within its Roche limit. At this point, the planet's gravitational tidal forces exceeded the moon's own gravity, ripping it apart and scattering its icy material into orbit. The rings may be the result of a collision between two of Saturn's icy moons. Data from the Cassini spacecraft suggests the rings are not as old as the solar system, 4.5 billion years, but are instead much younger, potentially formed during the time of the dinosaurs. Let's explain about the Chrysalis theory. A recent theory proposes a lost moon named Chrysalis existed, which was destroyed roughly 100–200 million years ago, explaining both the rings and the planet's axial tilt. The most prominent theory suggests a massive, historical collision, perhaps the same one that tilted the planet on its side, shattered one or more moons, leaving behind debris that settled into rings. The rings might have formed from small inner moons that wandered too close to the planet and were torn apart by Uranus gravity. Because the rings are composed of dark, narrow, and dusty material, they are likely young, as atmospheric drag would cause old rings to fall into the planet within a few thousand years. They are constantly replenished by meteoroid impacts on existing moons, which eject dust into orbit. Studies suggest that Uranus inner moons, e.g., Mav, Portia, help maintain the ring system through gravitational interactions, with impacts and outgassing on these moons adding fresh material. We are Saturn and Uranus's rings. When moons, or SE bodies, get too close, they form rings. Mars will be doing that in the future due to collision of Phobos. We are Saturn and Uranus's rings. When moons, or SE bodies, get too close, they form rings. Mars will be doing that in the future due to collision of Phobos.